Hey students, we're back. The haircut that we saw in the video yesterday for the class was considered to be the 180 haircut. What I want to show you is variables that you can do that haircut in. Now I know they had it in 4 quadrants when they did the cut. The reason I do this is because I want you to practice knowing where you're at. Some of you are very good at it. Some of you are picking this up and you're getting it. But remember, keep in mind, we have different levels of retention, different levels of learning. I'm like you guys that has to see it, has to see it, has to do it, has to see it, has to do it. All right? I'm not different, but that's why I know where I'm at, because you have to be consistent with it and you always have to understand the whys. Okay, yesterday when they did the cut, they brought it all to the very center, right at the apex. She measured it to the center, brought everything up. And one thing that I want you to do is I want you to go back and look at that finished look. It's very close to the head. Creating a hard line down the center is going to do that, especially when you have really long hair. So what I'm going to do today, I'm going to do that cut again to show you how it can be done broken up into different sections. And then I'm going to do it a little bit. So I'm going to be doing 3 haircuts today. Now I'll be honest with you students, I don't have to section anymore when I cut. I section so that you can learn how to do it. From this, afterwards, all of your haircuts are going to be done in 4 quadrants because you're going to understand a little more about where you're at on the head form. So I'm going to part it down the center. And what I'm going to do is exactly what they did on the video. I'm going to bring the hair to the center. Now, one thing they did on the video, they brought it from the other side, and the reason they did that is because they wanted you to see that yes, you were perfectly straight. Okay, if you know where you're at the center apex, you're going to be pretty straight. You know, you can say that yes, you're there. So what I'm going to do is, because I don't have a lot of hair to cut, it would be senseless for me to take a small section and then another small section and just be cutting these little bits. If you have really thick hair, you do want to separate it. You've got to be able to see your guide. So I'm going to take it on this side and I'm going to bring it up just like they did, but I'm taking it way up. You can see that that is straight. It's there. So I'm holding it straight up at the apex, drawing everything to it because I know where the apex is at. Again, cutting it across, following my guide. And I'm going to go ahead and pick this up. Going to come over to the other side. I'm not moving the mannequin. And just like having a ponytail right on top. Do you see my guide right there? All right, I'm going to take that off, so then we've got it. Now I'm going to take the flat part of the head, and I'm going to bring that to the apex. See, there's very, very little hair to cut. Taking it there. The other side, flat part of the head. At the apex. Bringing it up. Straight up at the center apex. Very little to cut. So everything has been brought up. Here is the question. How do we do the back? The back is not flat, the back is not on top, the back is the roundest part of the head. Okay, what they did on that, so I'm going to take the upper occipital first. They used this guide on the very end. Let me clean that up. Oh no, that went. Now I want to show you something. Do you see where that's just a little bit longer? Do you see that? The reason for that is because what happens when hair travels? It becomes longer. So I brought that to the center apex. So when you do that, I got a little corner there. When you do that, it will become longer. All right? So we're going to take this subsection here, right at the center crown. And then we're going to take all of our hair, subsection it diagonally at that form so that it then comes up. To do the exact same thing, find my guide, diagonally, bring it up, and see, because it's such, I want to call it skinny hair, you don't need to actually take a small section at a time. Now, let's take the nape now. See, we're still bringing it to the center apex. All right. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I want to walk over to the other side because I want you to see it. Now I have a couple of guides. I'm going to take the hair at the occipital into the crown. Take it to the very center, right there, center crown, center vertex. Bring it straight up. Take that hair at the bottom now and bring that straight up to it. What's going to happen, how do you know that you did this haircut right? There's a real easy way to look at it, and that's to look at the back of it. This hair, we have this perimeter line, all right? This hair traveled to the same point. Which hair on the head traveled the longest? That at the center nape traveled up into it. Even this is a little bit shorter than that at the center nape, even though it goes across, because it traveled up into it. This traveled further, traveling around the head form. There's your whys on that. I want you to understand the whys on it. So you can see that we still have almost like a V cut because we brought it to the center up on top as opposed to at front when we did the graduated cut. So these are all extreme variables. How do we know that we did this cut correctly? It's going to be shorter at the center, longer on the sides, curved. Surprisingly enough, you look at your mannequin, you're going to be slightly longer off to the sides because everything traveled to the center. It looks a little bit flat right now, but just wait a minute. Okay, the next haircut I want to show you is the 180. This is where, they're both considered the 180 haircut. That's just taken to the center apex. These, on this side, on one side, I'm going to do it side to side. Now, when you do it side to side, you could go from parietal line to parietal line if you're going to do it all on top. There's a reason I'm doing this, and I've got another mannequin that I finished, that I blow dried, that I'm going to show you the effects of that. Okay, so this is if you want, when you bring it to the center apex, they want layering, but they want maximum length. On one of my other videos, you saw a crown layer. Everything came to the crown. Not that much different. You just move the position on where you're at. No haircut, it's wrong. It's result that you're looking for. All right, so I'm going to part this down the center again. Take it, bring it around the parietal line. And I'm going to part it down the center because one side, remember, is going to be still flat part of the head. One side is going to be going side to side. The other side is going to be going front to back. And I'm leaving the mannequin alone. I'm not moving it. So that you guys can see this. flat part of the head. And you're going to see the result of this choice once I blow dry it. Okay, and then the back, again, tip of the ear to tip of the ear horizontally. This isn't as clean as I would like it, but I'm trying to rush through it. I'm going to be real strict with you. I want yours to be clean. Okay, so this time I'm going to cut the hair. On this side, it's going to go side to side. So it's just going to go to the center. So I'm going to take one section up front. I want you to see it. Just taking one section. This is called a traveling guide. The other one was a stationary guide coming to the center. This is called a traveling guide. So remember, side to side. And I'm going to take about that much off. Okay, now this hair goes forward. This hair now is my guide because it's going to travel back. They both travel back, but one of them travels back going side to side like this. The other one travels back. Okay, I want to get rid of that because I just need a guide going side to side. But they both travel back to the center, to the crown, and into the, almost to the vertex. Okay? And do you see how as it travels up, which hair would be longer? That at the top center apex is going to be the shortest. Okay, so we're traveling side to side. Here are the variables in the back and the sides. Okay, flat part of the head, right? Side to side. Side to side. Still does that. Okay, bringing that up, take that off. So what's my guide here? What is my actual guide? My actual guide is the parietal line. All of this is the same. All right, now at the area behind the ear. Now, as I travel back into the crown, I'm going to start doing what is called a pie shaping. Let me separate this because this is going to go over to the other side. All right, so I'm going to do what's called a pie shaping. I am at the rounded part of the head now. From the center apex, I'm going to take a triangle. That's what's called a pie shaping. I want you to see this. It's thinner at the top, very thin, thicker on the bottom, a V, a kind of like a pie shaping. But this time, I'm traveling around the head because remember, everything is vertical or perpendicular to the head form. All right, I'm going to bring this up, continuing to travel around. Now you're going to get a result out of this. Look at the layering we're getting. Look at the lift. Okay, down to the nape. See all that movement? I hope you can see the movement. I hope you can see all the layering, the little peaks. When you want volume with this cut, you're going to cut it side to side. Now, I'm going to take it and I'm going to do this side. But this time, we're going front to back, still traveling back. Remember when we did side to side, we traveled back, right? It was below the parietal line that it changed. This is why I break it down for you. Later on, you're automatically going to know this. You're automatically going to know that below the curve of the head, below the crest, what are other terms for it? Below the rim, we recognize it as the parietal ridge. Does it make a difference? It's the same spot. The variable here is I tell you exactly where it starts, exactly where the center's at. No one is wrong, everyone is right. It comes back to what you get out of this. So this time what we're going to do, instead of side to side, we're going to kind of do the same thing. Let me take a guide off the other side there, off the front. There's my guide. All right. Trying to rush through this cut so it's not as clean as I would like it. That's an excuse, not a reason. Okay, now that goes away. I take this very fine line. Remember, it still travels. It's traveling to, cameraman, can you see me with my arm in the way there? Can you see it okay?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, okay, so I don't need to. Okay, so see, I'm up now to the parietal line and everything is traveling front to back. Now I'm at the parietal line. Move that out of the way. I'm just using the hair right next to it. There it is. Can you see that? And I'm traveling back. Here's the variable. We are now at the parietal line. How do we handle the stuff underneath the parietal line? Well, we're going to do it the same way. We're going to hold it. But now the parietal line is your guide for the rest of the haircut. That's why this is called a 180. So if you hold your comb like this, 0, 45, 90, 135, 180, 180 degree. However, we're doing horizontal parts, or we're parallel to the horizon. There you go. Our parts are parallel to the horizon. They're horizontal. All right, so they're going to come down horizontally as opposed to going up and down. Measuring only to the parietal line. Here's the variable that I want you to see almost right away. Hair lays down. Doesn't pop up, doesn't dance, just lays down. If you want the hair to go under and cup under the face, this is what you're going to do below the parietal line. You're going to do horizontal lines. You'll be able to see it a lot better. Now see how that's popping up? The parietal line along this ridge right here at the vertex again is going to be held horizontally. Okay, you can see my little mark right there. I make sure and mark it because when I start teaching, I go on automatic. And then I think, okay, did I do that on that side or did I do it on the other? Okay, right there we go. Now, look at all those little things come up and look at all of this go under. If you want to have more control, you want to cut it horizontally so that it falls down. This is more difficult on shorter hair because what it ends up showing is it ends up showing that you'll see every line. Where when you cut it, and you can kind of see the lines with this, but when you cut it vertically, you can't see those lines. So many times, if you do see the lines, what you do is pick it up with your texture shear and texturize it vertically. You're not going to lose that down. Now, the difference here is that okay, I had one piece, I thought so. Okay, and that's the, I'm not going to worry about it. Cut that side to side. The difference here is that what you're going to find, if you want movement, you're going to cut it vertically. However, the top, how do you want that to lay? If you want volume, you're going to cut it side to side. If you want it to calm down, you're going to cut it front to back. Now, remember I showed you how we proved it? You thought the other one was straight. That is even flatter. And look at this, how it kind of curves up a little bit on the sides. Let me take a look at it, make sure. Yeah, it's going to curve up a little bit on the sides because now we've taken it across. As opposed to this hair traveling over, it stayed within the parietal line. This, by the way, is called a very long flat top. A flat top or pompadours are taken straight up. You're practicing already on the very shorter haircuts. Now I have a mannequin that I want to show you what happens. What you're going to do after you do this cut on each side, I want you to do half one way, mark it in the back so that you know which one you did vertically or perpendicular, or which one you did parallel, horizontal. Anyways, and your projection is going to be straight up. Your elevation is going to be straight up. All right, so notice what you did, but you can see the movement. You can definitely see that this is, even though it's layered, you can see some of it, there's so much more movement on the other side. So much more movement. This lays down. I'm trying to get it to go up. Look at this. This just goes up by itself. And they're both the same length. So when you want it to lay down and calm it, so what does it say about curly hair? Yes, you want to cut it horizontally. So these are things that you need to know. Cameraman, would you give me that mannequin on that silver stand over there? I want to show you something. When you blow dry this on the silver stand, just the mannequin. Okay, one of the things that I want to show you, it's the same thing. I did this on our A-line. Look at the volume here. You can see the movement of the hair, and you cannot on the other side. When you try and flip this out, it won't. When you cut it horizontally, it's called a hard line in the haircut. So when you cut it horizontally, you're going to get that to lay down and cup under. It will not flip out. When you cut it vertically, it flips out for you. So I did both of them, trying to get that side to flip out. It will not do it. I'm going to heat it up, and what it does, I'm turning the brush. You see I'm heating it, turning the brush, just goes right back. It will not flip up because it is a hard line. All those hairs have been cut in the same direction, so therefore you have a weightiness to it. You have a light cut on the other side. How much time do we have, cameraman?
7.
7 minutes? Okay, so, and you can, it's also going to affect the area of volume for you. So what I want to do now, being that we have 7 minutes, I'm going to quickly take this just on the bottom to show you. Okay, this side was cut. Side to side, parietal line to parietal line. See that flip out? And if I wanted to, just keep taking it straight up, really dry it good in there. It's flipping up real nice. The other side was cut side to side. It won't do it. Come on, flip up. Flip up for me. I want you to go up. This client wants her hair flipped up. It won't do it. It just kind of plays around there and it will not do it. Where this side, every bit of it flipped up real nice. So when flipped up, you know, it'll flip up pretty uniform for you. So these are things for you to know about hair cutting. Your next homework is going to be, you're going to do it this way, and then you're going to blow dry it. I want you to blow dry it. Separate it so that you can blow dry it. If you feel confident enough to do all of it in 4 quadrants, please show me a picture before you do it, and then kind of, you know, and let's see what you did. How do you know that you did it right? You're going to turn it upside down, and it's going to look kind of flat because this hair has traveled over, all right? When we want it to look like a flat top and it's slightly rounded on the edges, we cut it straight across, because what does this hair have to do? It has to travel around this area still to reach that center point. Just depends. It's 2 different types of layering. This one is very simple. This one can be done at the top apex or the crown. Doesn't matter. But the area of concern is, how do we do the back? Do we do it horizontally? Do we do it vertically? Remember, if it's done vertically, it has to be pie-shaped. So just do the best you can, students. These videos, I'm hoping they help you. I'm hoping they work out for you. But I'm even going to comb this down for you to see it. I'm going to turn her around. Whoop. She's trying to go down on me. Oh, my little screw came out down there. Okay, I got to fix that. Okay, so what I want you to see when I turn her around, my water bottle just went. See these little flip-ups? See, it doesn't flip up, it just lays down. So when you do it vertically, you're going to get more movement. When you do it horizontally, you're not. Depends on what you want. All right? So either way, now you understand the 180 haircut. This one was not cut at a 0 before, it was just done. So, I mean, you know, all of yours are cut at a 0 before, so you're going to have a cleaner edge on the end. But being that this one wasn't, so it's a little bit of a frayed edge, I'm going to go ahead and cut it into a 0 as we do the other haircuts. Okay, students, good luck. Please do your homework. Please turn stuff in. Please send pictures. Take care. God bless. See you later.